So Kiki, you are the last one standing with this balloon. So I want to know why you still holding on.
I am. Well, so far, I feel like his energy has been good. He's been respectful. He's not too egotistical, not too full of himself. He's handsome. He's tall. I feel like I see the effort in what he put in with his outfit today. You know,
It sounds like Kiki got all the compliments for you.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. When I come across information like this, I always want to really kind of take a step back and be able to kind of see it in a balanced way, right? And it's easy to kind of go ahead and jump in with the whole concept of, oh, well, that's why white women, they treat black men better and all this and all that, right? I did, something recently with like this German lady, and she was talking about things, and, a lot of people, were in the comments going back and forth, in different ways, right? And I think, one of the issues, and I've kind of talked about it before, is when it comes to a lot of the stuff that we see, right? A lot of the, like even the people, think about even the people that even show up on these pop the balloon type shows. Like I generally don't, I think this might be either the first, no, this is the second, I think pop the balloon video that I've ever done. And I've kind of stayed away from it, even though I know it's trending. And even though I know a lot of times it deals with relationships. And the reason why is because I'm looking at the people. And I'm looking at the people 9 times out of 10, that are in the background, how they act and how they move. And I'm like, these are the same people that they find, in the random mall or on the street. And people come up real quick to them and they ask them all these questions, right? I'm rarely seeing what I would consider a person that generally is going to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxed. Now, I do believe, that the random sampling of these people probably represents at least 40%, of the population. Now, I do believe that. But my concern is the balance of it. Like, I don't have a problem with, these people popping the balloons and stuff like that. But what I would have liked to see is a different type of black woman in the audience. Well, not in the audience, but, as a part of the panel. And a different type of black man sometimes as a part of the panel. And I'm never seeing the types of people that kind of represent a lot of the people that I know of, if that makes sense. Like recently, I ran into a gentleman that was about 32 years old, and he was 100% about getting married. Came out to the group, me and him got to talking, and he was just telling me like he did not want to be out here in these streets. He was not trying to chase women. He was not trying to have sex with a whole lot of women. He just wanted to get married. He was trying to find his person, and he really wanted to settle down. And see, that's the type of person that I'm just not seeing in a lot of these shows. I'm seeing instead a lot of people that just really want to date around and have fun. And I wanted to make sure I start there because, again, I think that's part of the problem. When people are out here dating, quote unquote, just to be dating, just to be having fun, just because it's something to do, then I think they look at life differently. But when you are dating, quote unquote, or you are courting and you're moving towards a place of marriage, again, you look at life differently. Like one of the things I think is so interesting, and I think a lot of men have seen this because I think a lot of the male spaces, have talked to this. And I know a lot of them kind of demonize this behavior, but I kind of look at it as just learning and growing. But there are women who are taught that their 20s is for fun. Okay. And that's been the biggest lie to me that has been told to a lot of women. Your 20s should be the time where you are very serious about life and that you're trying to make the most out of life. But society has now tried to teach women, no, go have fun in your 20s. Well, what happens a lot of times is as women get closer and closer to 30, many of them start to see, oh, I really have not really found a man to line up in order to get married. And so at that point, they become a lot more serious. And even then, they start to look at men differently. But the problem is they've had, unfortunately, 10 years of, dating bad men. And so now the good man sometimes might not necessarily be as attractive to them. And it's the same thing for men. If men have spent their 20s and early 30s dating bad women, women that really they should have never even, hung out with, but maybe they were thinking, oh, I'm going to have sex with her. Oh, she's fun. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. But she's not marriage quality. Then what happens is when they finally do get serious, they don't really understand who is the good and who's the bad. And it can become very confusing, in that space because all of your practice has been with basically bad people, right? And one of the tenets with, unfortunately, and I think this is the sad part, okay, I don't think this is the part to make fun of or anything like that. I actually truly believe that this is the unfortunate part, is that because over 60%, closer to 70% of black men and women in America have actually never really seen a healthy relationship. They've gone through all of their life. And we're talking about going into your 30s. So now 30 years of your life where you've never seen a healthy relationship. And now you're trying to figure out, okay, who is the person that would give me a healthy relationship? And at that point, it becomes extremely confusing because all you know is what you've been taught. And that's all of us. All right. Almost every single person, including myself, the mistakes that I know I've made in my life, a lot of it goes back to what I was taught. So when you deal with white people, okay, a lot of white women, okay, had a little bit more of their family. They saw a little bit more of mommy and daddy. Okay. And a lot of, Latino women have done that as well. A lot of Asian, a lot of Indian. Okay. So when black men run into those women, or black women, running into those men, it seems if those black men and women are ready and they're mature and they actually have that husband or wife energy, it seems like it just fits. And while we're looking at a white woman right now talking to a black man, again, I'm going to try to be a little bit different in this video and talk about, like I said, both sides. When a black woman has that education, who has that, when I'm talking about education here, I'm talking about that 18 years of watching two people work it out. Okay, when she has that, she is going to pick the white man that has it as well. Generally speaking, because we talk a lot about black women trying to date white men and vice versa. Generally, when it doesn't work out, it is simply because you don't have the cultural background. You don't have that understanding of what a real relationship looks like. And so sooner or later, the person that does have that understanding becomes frustrated in the constant teaching of the other person. And even though a person might be very attracted to someone, in another culture or even in another race, a lot of that starts to melt off if, the person can't, keep up with the information. And that's why I'm always encouraging everyone that if you did not have that background, you need to study, you need to research, and you need to have that knowledge. So when certain things happen, you won't be offended. Instead, you'll do your best to be around people that are married that can speak into you and teach you those lessons. Because I think everybody can change. I think everybody deserves love. But I want to make sure I'm saying all that in order to be fair with it. So when you look at this, what I see out of it is that what she saw was a man that in her mind was a decent guy. Okay. And the black women, I didn't see the whole video. I'm just watching this one clip. More than likely, they might have been a little bit picky about different things because they're looking for that perfect boyfriend. They're not looking for a husband. They're looking for that perfect boyfriend. And so it allows, right now, this white lady to basically come out and seem like, oh, wow, she's able to just look beyond all these flaws and see a quote unquote good man on the inside. And I think that is what we really kind of have to see, that marriage-minded people, or even if they're not fully marriage-minded, if they just have more of a background of trying to find a good person, and they're evaluating what's in here and what's in here more than they're evaluating the outside appearance, okay, those people are going to act differently. They're going to move differently. And what I'm always trying to encourage women, and really even men to some degree, is that if you find a halfway decent person, because I truly believe that everyone is attractive, that what you can do is you can work on their outside. And I've tried to, let you guys know that over and over again, because I am always leaning on, women that are in the friend zone, either they friend zone me or I friend zone them. And I'll lean on them and I'll be like, hey, does this shirt look good? What do you think about the new beard? What do you think about this chain? What do you think about this watch? What do you think? Because I'm not saying I'm super person. What I'm saying is I know that these women are decent women that are in my friend zone. These are the type of women that I would date. So I'm very concerned about what they think. And because they're in that friend mode, they're not really worried about me doing this, that, and the third. They're able to help me and to bless me, right? And it's the same thing that men can do for women as well. So I think that people need to understand you don't have to find a person that is perfect on the outside. You can change a few things. You're not going to take your full self into a relationship, but you should take most of yourself. And how a person dresses really is probably less than 10% of who they are. So for me, that's easily sacrificed. How somebody does their hair, whether or not they wear earrings or whatever it is. So I just want to make sure that we're thinking about that, okay? And I know there's some women, because I had one woman one time, she was like, I ain't helping no man change his clothes. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. And, to my answer to that is you don't have to, number one. But then number two is that if you're struggling, to find men that look on the outside like, you want, but then they don't have the inside. I mean, what's the most important thing? You can't change their inside. The outside is easy. That's like me taking my car and going to get a paint job. It might cost me $5,000 or whatever it is to get my car painted, but the engine works. So if I bought a black car, but I really want a red car, okay, but I like the style of my car, I can easily go get it painted. Okay, but when you start talking about changing out that engine, making sure that the actual car works well, oh, that's a whole nother, ball of wax. That's a lot of problems that you're dealing with, okay, if you want to take it at that level. Where a paint job is easy in, easy out, they'll have it to me in 2 or 3 days. So anyway, if you're interested in joining membership, that button is down below. But also, please like, please subscribe, and I want to see you all in the very next video.